Hi guys. I wanted to put together another class for you all to do at home, and hopefully I'll have about 5 more coming within the next month or so. In September we're going to be gone out of the studio for at least a week, maybe 2, so I want to have some classes for you to be able to do. So this first class today is kind of my go-to class whenever I have a student that's coming in that hasn't done yoga before. It has most of the basic poses that you'll see throughout any typical vinyasa class. It's not necessarily an easy class, but it touches on most of the different poses that you'll need. We are live in Vallarta, and the soundscape is definitely alive. So you probably hear the hummingbirds in the background, which is awesome. You might also hear chickens, dogs, dump trucks, you name it, we're gonna hear it. It's a pretty busy neighborhood out there. The ocean's right there, which is awesome. It's beautiful, but you have to take the good with the bad, and sometimes it's dump trucks. So find your comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. Start to pull your attention inward. Forgetting about anything that may have happened earlier today. Forgetting about anything that you may need to do later. For the next hour or so, it's just you, just here, just now. Now start to soften your shoulders down away from the ears, letting your shoulder blades slide down your back. And imagine a little string connected to the crown of your head, lifting you up just a little bit more than usual. Now bring your attention to your breath, not so much trying to control it yet, but just notice how you're arriving to your practice today. Then start to relax through the ribcage. Soften through the whole chest cavity. And let the diaphragm drop. Let those inhales start to fill that whole chest space, that whole belly space. Let your exhales be complete. Now on your next round, I want you to see yourself counting your breath on the chalkboard. As you're inhaling, count up. When it's time to exhale, count down. Now on your next round through, try and add 1 more digit, lengthening the breath out just that much more. Good. Now wherever you are, take the biggest, deepest inhale of the day, filling that whole chest space, that whole belly space. Exhale it out completely. Then inhale the arms out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Inhale out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Last time, inhaling out and up. This time, when the palms come to touch, interlace those fingers. Exhale, tipping to the right side. Keep that left sit bone on the ground. Inhaling center. Exhaling left. Inhaling center. Now drop that right arm down, exhaling to the right. Take your time here. Actively reaching with those left fingertips. Feel that stretch from your hip all the way through your side body, all the way up your arm, maybe in your hand, maybe in your finger. Keep it active. Now think about taking a couple of big breaths into that left side rib cage. Separating the ribs just enough to stretch those intercostal muscles. Good. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling left. Take your time. Active with those fingers, reaching away from you. Good. Thinking about taking a couple of big breaths into that right side rib cage. And inhaling back to center. Exhale, float those arms down. Bringing your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind. Inhale tall. Exhale, twisting with the belly first. Then the rib, then the shoulder, and finally the gaze. With each inhale growing taller, and with each exhale twisting just a little bit deeper. And one more big inhale here. Exhale, return the gaze to center, followed by the rest of the body. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind, inhaling tall. Exhale, twist belly first. Then the ribs, then the shoulders, and finally the gaze. With each inhale, finding additional length in the spine. With each exhale, twisting just that little bit deeper. And one more big inhale here. Exhale, returning the gaze to center, followed by the rest of the body. So headed for a tabletop, run over your knees if that works for you, or kick your feet out to the side. Either way is fine. Once you get there, take a big inhale, then exhale, set back into your version of child's pose, whether it's with the knees together or the knees apart. Let yourself settle in. Think about letting your joints settle, letting all of your muscles release. Hips coming down to the heels, forehead relaxing on the ground. Now if your mind starts to wander here, bring it back to the sound of your breath. Keep yourself fully present, fully in your body. Good. Shifting forward, tabletop. Exhale, pressing the ground away, arching the spine, tucking the tailbone, cat pose. Inhale, belly drops, tailbone lifts, gaze gently lifts, cow pose. Now swinging that torso to the right, up into cat pose, exhale. Swing it left, down into cow pose, inhale. Now keep it going like that, but start to soften through your hips.
Soften through the shoulders. And let it become one continuous organic movement. Try and find all those little sore spots, all those little tight spots, work them out. When you're ready, switching directions. Good. Now returning that spine to neutral. Taking one more big inhale here. Exhale, sit back into your child's pose. We're not going to be here for long though. Spread those fingers wide. Plant those palms a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. Tuck the toes under. Lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. So take a moment here, maybe pedaling out your heels, maybe shifting your hips from side to side, whatever feels good here. Bringing some stretch and some life into those calves. Always thinking about shifting as much weight back into the hips as possible, out of the shoulders. And think about gently rolling the triceps under, broadening through the collarbone. Good. Now looking between your hands, walking your feet forward. Inhaling to a halfway lift when you get there with a nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Now if you like to, you can grab your elbows here, let your upper body hang. If you're rocking a little bit from side to side. Check on where your mind is, make sure it's in your body, in this room with you. If it's wandering, return it to your breath. Good. Now put a bit of a bend in those knees, thinking reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. Good. Sun stretches, exhale, forward fold. Keep the heart lifted on the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, forward fold, thinking swan dive. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. One more, just like that. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. All right, Surya Namaskar A. It's a lot of that same stuff, but with a chaturanga, an up dog, and a down dog. So exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. So plant those hands, hopper walk those feet back, bending those elbows to a 90. Then shifting forward, inhale, up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale, downward facing dog. Now, looking between the hands, stepping your right foot forward. Left heel pivoting down, parallel with the back edge of the mat. Cartwheeling the arms up, warrior two. So once you're in your warrior two, go through your checklist. Hips parallel with the side of the mat. Back foot parallel with the back edge of the mat. Toes pointing forward, knee basically over the ankles. Arms extended. Gaze down that right arm across that right middle fingertip. Now keep the breath long and smooth here. kind of bring your awareness to your shoulders. Try to find the support to hold your shoulders up from below the scapula and relax the top parts of your shoulders. Relaxing through the traps, relaxing the top shoulder. Good. Now the deeper you're bent in that front knee, the harder you're working. It's up to you. And flip that front palm, reach forward, big inhale. Exhale, keeping the lower body where it is, sweeping the upper body back, reverse warrior. Now gaze can either come up to that palm or it can come down to that back foot. Whatever suits your body better. Keep that breath long and smooth. Good. Inhaling back, warrior two. Headed for side angle, so imagine that wall behind you so your butt can't stick out. Left shoulder is pinned back, big inhale. Exhale, tipping sideways, side angle. Now if you want to go for a strength challenge, hover those fingers. If you're feeling pretty flexy this morning, you can reach for the floor, but make sure this right hip doesn't pop out. Make sure it stays tucked under, and that left shoulder stays pulled back. If you start to fall out of alignment, you're not quite ready to reach for the floor, and that's okay. Now, if gazing up to the thumb is hard on the neck, you can drop your gaze to your front foot, and that's totally fine too. Avoid the wandery gaze though. Make sure you're not just kind of like looking around the room. You need to keep that mind focused, right? And if it does start to wander, bring it back to your breath, find your drishti, lock back in. Good. Now we're going to return to warrior two really slowly. The urge is to get back there as fast as you can because it's hard, right? But find all the strength you can in that front foot, that front leg. Inhale, slowly. Coming up, warrior two. Excellent. Extending that front knee, kicking out that left hip, reaching, reaching, reaching. Big inhale. Exhale, tipping sideways. Triangle pose. Now gaze either coming up to that palm or down at that bottom foot. Thinking about tucking that right hip under, rolling that left hip back. Good. Putting a bend in that knee, inhaling back slowly with control. Warrior two. Good. Now cartwheeling the arms down, coming up on the back toes. Step that front foot back, chaturanga. Shifting forward, inhale, up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale, downward facing dog. Now your body should be quite a bit warmer now. Maybe you can find some extra flexibility through the shoulders, melting that heart closer to the ground. Maybe you can send more weight back into the hips now. Good. Looking between your hands, stepping your left foot forward, right heel pivoting down, cartwheeling the arms up, warrior two. So going through your checklist once you get there, hips parallel with the side of the mat, back foot parallel with the back edge of the mat, toes pointing forward, knee basically over the ankle, arms extended, gaze down that left arm, right across that left middle fingertip. Now think about your shoulders, finding that support under your scapula, softening through the traps, through the top shoulders. And again, the deeper you're bent in that front knee, the harder you're working, up to you. And flipping that front palm, reaching forward, big inhale, keeping the lower body where it is, exhale the upper body back, reverse warrior. Gaze coming either to the palm or down to that back foot, either way. Good. Inhaling back, warrior two. Headed for side angle, so imagining that wall behind you. Big inhale. Exhale, tipping sideways. Reaching those fingers down for the strength challenge. Or going clearer for the floor for the flexibility challenge. Only if you can keep the right shoulder back and the left hip tucked under. And again, gaze either up at that top thumb or down at that bottom foot or hand. Good. Finding that superhuman strength in that left leg. Slowly with control, inhale back, warrior two. Boy. Good. Extending that front knee, kicking out that right hip, reaching, 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 big inhale. Exhale, tipping sideways. Trikonasana, triangle pose. And again, gaze coming up to that top hand or down to that bottom foot. Left hip rolling under, right hip rolling back. Good. Putting a bend in that knee, inhaling back, warrior two. Cartwheeling the arms down, coming up on those back toes. Stepping that front foot back, chaturanga. Squeeze those elbows into the ribcage, shifting forward, inhale. Up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale. Downward facing dog. Now if you're ready for a child's pose, grab it. It's a good time. Otherwise, stay here in down dog. Bringing your attention to your breath. Good. Looking between your hands, stepping your right foot forward. Left foot coming to a 45 or sharper. Inhaling the arms up, warrior one. So in warrior one, it's important to note, both hips are going forward in this pose in the same direction. Warrior two, it was parallel to the side of the mat, right? Both are going forward. So it's important to note also that the back foot is definitely not parallel with the back edge of the mat anymore. Toes are coming forward at least a 45. I like it sharper because the thing is, squaring your hips to the front, if your foot's not pointing mostly forward, all the torque of that twist is going to end up in your knee, and who wants that, right? So think about pulling all of those muscles in the back leg to the bone. Squeeze them tight. And big inhale. Exhale, drop those hands. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Punch down, rolling back the shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart. Good. This is the anti-kyphosis maneuver, I've been calling it lately. Really think about keeping that heart lifted. Strengthening through the back body, stretching through the front body. Good. Now extend that front knee, big inhale. Exhale, tipping down from the hips, not the lower back, from the hips. Good. Now if your hands are just resting on your low back, try and lift them, even if it's just an inch. Good. Now release the hands down. They can come to your thigh, they can come to your shin, all the way to the floor if that's comfortable. Check on the mind, make sure it's not wandering. If it is, bring it back to the sound of your breath. Good. Now shift forward just a little bit, put a bend in that knee. Lift that top leg, bring the knee to the ground, top of the foot to the ground. Settling down, lizard lunge. So bringing both hands inside of the foot. And this might be where you stay, and that's totally okay, right? But if you have the flexibility, you can start to lower yourself down. Maybe using blocks even. Or go clear for the floor if your body lets you. Now resist the urge to lay on that left hip here. Keep that breath long and smooth. Your attention inside your body. Good. Now shifting your weight back, shifting your hips back, popping up those front toes for a half split Ardha Hanumanasana. So thinking about bringing your forehead down towards your shin here. If you're particularly flexing, you want to go for the full split, just stretch that back leg out behind you. I can't do it, but I'm working in that direction. Check in with that breath. Good. Shifting the weight forward back onto the bottom of that front foot. Clamp those hands. Tuck the back toes under, lifting that back knee. Stepping that front foot back, chaturanga. Squeezing those elbows into the rib cage. Shifting forward, inhale, up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now looking between your hands, stepping your left foot forward. Right toes coming to a 45 or sharper. Inhaling the arms up, warrior one. Firming all of those back leg muscles to the bone. There might be a tendency here to kind of come here with the arms. Try and think about widening around the neck. Finding support from below. Good. And big inhale. Exhale, release those hands down, interlace those fingers, punch down, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, really lift the heart. Really stretching through that front body, really squeezing through that back body. Now extending that front knee, big inhale. Exhale from the hips, tipping forward. Trying to keep those hands lifted off your back if you can. And releasing the hands down to the thigh or the shin or the floor. Check in with your breath, make sure it's still long and smooth. Good. Now putting a bend in that knee, stepping that back foot back farther, dropping the knee to the ground, top of the foot to the ground. Both hands inside that left leg. And then start to lower yourself down into your lizard lunge. Back to the mat, lifting up your upper body, shifting the hips back, popping up those front toes, Ardha Hanumanasana, half split, or extend that back leg for the full split. shifting the weight back onto the bottom of that front foot. Bringing the hands down, coming up on those back toes, lifting that back knee, stepping that front foot back, chaturanga. Squeeze those elbows into the ribcage. Shifting forward, inhaling, up dog or cobra. Lifting the hips up and back, exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Now looking between the hands, walking your feet forward. Inhaling to a halfway lift when you get there. Exhale, forward fold. Thinking reverse swan dive, inhale, rise. Good. And exhale, let those arms drop. So we're headed for our standing balance sequence, so I'll step off to the side. You can look that way, it's more exciting, right? Try and find a drishti, something that's not moving. The hummingbird feeder might be good. I usually look out there to the top of that restaurant out there. They have that, the dome with the little cross on top. That's a good focal point. There's a boat out there. That might work too. Either way, finding your balance on your left foot. So spread the toes out and then lift that arch. Get a good foot lock, right? Then bring that right leg up into your version of tree pose. So it can be with the toes on the ground and the heel just above the ankle. It can be with the foot on the calf, or you can come all the way up to the thigh. The only thing to avoid is being right on the knee. Don't put your foot right on your knee. Then once you're there, think about firming that standing leg, gently pressing the foot into it, tucking the tailbone slightly, pulling the belly button to the spine and lift. Good. Then if there's anything you'd like to do with your arms, you can keep them at heart center or you can inhale them up. You can make a mudra if you want. A lotus mudra is pretty awesome. Maybe just with the hands together, maybe even hands apart. Totally up to you. Make sure you stay engaged through that standing leg. A lot of times I'll see people that soften through the hip, and so the hip will kind of fall out to the left. Keep it engaged, keep it straight. Good. One more big inhale here. Exhale, release it down. Finding your balance on that right foot, so spread those toes, lift the arch, get a good foot lock, a good pada bandha. Then bring that left foot into whatever your version of tree pose is. And once you're there, think about firming that standing leg, slightly tucking the tailbone, belly button to spine, and lift. Good. And notice the top leg too. Oftentimes I'll see them pulled pretty well forward. You want to have a flat front plane of your body if you can. Okay? Hands to heart center if that's where you want them. You can also bring them up, bring them together. Your call. And one more big inhale. Exhale, release it down. Heading back to your mat, take a seat with your feet out in front of you. Wait for the dump truck to pass. Alright, so I've been calling these sun salutations with the toes. So make balls with the toes. Pull the arches back towards you. Squeeze, really squeeze. Really important part of balance is having good flexibility through the toes and a good healthy arch. Now flare the toes back, spread them wide, really pull back. You don't have to do the hands, that's just me. Good. Make fists with your toes. Pay no attention to my hands. Think about lifting those arches, pull the arches towards you. Flare the toes, spread them wide, pull them back. Good. Make your fists, pull those arches. And flare them back, spread them wide. Make fists, pull the arches towards you. And release. Oi, right? Bringing the bottoms of the feet together, letting the knees fall out wide. Great opportunity to rub out your toes here. I won't suggest popping them, but that's what I do. It's the first thing I usually do. But, you know, give your foot bones a squeeze. Move your toes around. Good. Now think about relaxing the thighs down and back. Think about rolling the bones back, rolling the thighs back. Good. Now if you're pretty comfortable, sideways, you can start shifting your weight forward. Right? If your knees are pretty far down and you're pretty comfortable, lift the heart, start bringing that weight forward. Now the whole time you're coming forward, think down and back. Think about rolling the thigh bones back the whole time. Good. Now bring your fingers to the floor if you're down, walk yourself up, then extend those legs out in front of you, roll out your hip sockets. Then we're going to keep that left leg extended, tuck that right leg. Inhaling high, exhale, folding forward. Now it's important to note that the fold is coming from a pelvic tilt here. It's not a big rounding of the low back. If your pelvis isn't very flexible and you get all of that, you can do it. You can get all of that bend from your low back, right? And then especially if you're rounded in the back and then you pull, you're gonna have a very sore back after class, so don't do that, right? Unhealthy. So think about really getting that pelvis to tilt, and how do you know that your pelvis is tilting, right? If your tailbone is pointing straight down, your pelvis is not tilting. So think about that. Think about trying to point your tailbone back, and that'll help your pelvis to tilt forward. Okay? So big inhale, exhale, forward fold, pulling on that low belly as you come down. We're here for a full 2 minutes, so let yourself soften it. Don't think of it as a struggle with your hamstring, but think about surrendering to your hamstring. Think about relaxing it. So there's only a few seconds left here. If you have more to give, give it now. I find that shifting from side to side a little bit opens up my hamstring more and lets me drop down further. Good. Now bring your fingers to the mat. Use your arms to walk yourself up. Don't engage those low back muscles right away. Okay? Then scooch to the left side of your mat, bringing the foot to the knee. Right fingers behind, sweeping yourself up onto that right knee and shin, pointing those left toes, then pressing your hips forward, opening the heart to the sky. Big deep breaths up here. Think about lengthening your spine as much as you can here, especially through the low back. And one more big inhale. Exhale slowly with control, lowering yourself back down. Good. Extending that right leg, tucking that left leg. Inhaling the arms high. Exhale, folding forward, pulling on that low belly as you come down. Make sure that the bend is coming from the hips and not from the waist. 2 minutes here. Settle in. All right, just a few seconds left. If you have more to give, give it now. Maybe rocking that a little bit from side to side. Good. Bringing the fingertips to the mat, walk yourself back. Scooching to the right side of your mat, bringing that left foot to the knee. Left fingers behind, sweeping yourself up, pointing those right toes, pressing your hips forward, opening your heart to the sky. Big breaths here. Really lengthening through that low back. And one more big inhale up here. Exhale slowly, gently. Sweeping your way back down. Well done. The only thing left is a little bit of core. Nobody loves boat pose, but it's good for us, right? So find your seat. Bring the bottoms of the feet to the mat. Pull that low back in. Now, it's important that your low back doesn't round during boat pose, and if it does, take a moment. Put your hands back behind your thighs and pull in to get it up there. All right. So, as you're in your boat pose, as you get more tired, it's going to naturally try and want to fall back out. So, feel free, pull it back up anytime, right? Okay, so tipping back, lifting the feet, extending into boat pose. You can keep the legs bent. You can keep your hands gently on your thighs if you need to. 1 minute here. Good time to practice on your yogi toes. We spread them out, make your fists. Check in with that low back. Checking in on that low back. Alright, big inhale. Exhale, roll back, squeeze those knees into your chest. Maybe rocking a little from side to side, massaging out the low back. So Viparita Karani is just legs up. If you have a block, you can put the block under your hips and that works awesome. If you don't have a block, you can just put your hands underneath your low back or your sacrum like that. Lift your legs up and just use your hands like a doorstop, right? Just to find that spot where it keeps you balanced. Now this should be effortless. So find that sweet spot. Good. Now relaxing the knees down towards the chest. If you have a block in, pull it out, right? Give your knees a squeeze, big inhale. Exhale, let those knees drop off to the right side. Try to keep that left shoulder blade down if you can. And just start to let yourself melt into place. Let any breath control go. Breathe freely. And gently bring those knees back to center. Give yourself another squeeze. Big inhale. Exhale, let those knees drop off to the left. Try to keep that right shoulder blade down. Gently bringing those knees back to center. Give yourself another big squeeze, maybe lifting your head up towards your knees, getting that full back stretch. Big inhale. Exhale, extend into Shavasana, corpse pose. Take a moment, get yourself situated. Maybe tucking your shoulder blades under. Maybe lifting your head, tucking your chin, and then laying that long neck back.
Now relaxing your forehead. Relaxing your eyebrow. All of those little muscles around the eyes, relax them, let them go. Softening the cheeks, letting them melt down towards the ears. Relaxing the jaw. Letting the tongue fall away from the roof of the mouth. With each exhale, feeling your body pressing heavier and heavier into your mat. With each exhale, falling deeper and deeper into relaxation. For the next few moments, just relax. Starting to bring your awareness back into your body. Maybe wiggling your fingers, maybe wiggling your toes. Maybe reaching your arms overhead for a big full body stretch. And when you're ready, rolling onto whichever side is the most comfortable for you, savoring these last few moments of relaxation. And when you're ready, gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat, keeping your eyes closed or lowered. And take a moment, notice your breath. Notice how it's changed from the beginning of class until now. And inhaling your arms out and up. Bringing your palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Inhaling out and up. Bringing the palms to touch. Exhaling down through heart center. Last time, inhaling out and up. Bringing your palms to touch, exhaling down to the third eye for the mind. Exhaling to heart center for the body and spirit. Namaste. Good job, Yogi. Go have a wonderful day. Namaste.